Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Who are you Blues fan? We're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
And aloha! Welcome back to the BlueNote Fan Report. This is your intermission show, and this is a very different game than what I thought. It is currently 3-1. There'll be 4-on-4 for the beginning of the second, and then they'll go on a truncated power play. Let me welcome in someone we haven't seen in a while, and we're glad to have him. Let's say hello, a big hello to Mr. Chris Lambert. Hey, Chris, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing good, guy. Really missed you guys on here. I've been watching you, sir. And by the way, sorry that you got burns very severely in the pregame.
No, you know what? It's all fun and laughs, and you know, it is what it is, you know, and that's the great thing about the show. We're allowed to have our own opinions and talk about our opinions and talk about what we see. Let's get into some of the comments first from Mr. Jose Dynamite. I really hope RO is able to score a goal or two. Would love to have another 20-goal scorer this season. I agree with you there, Jose. Tammy loves seeing the kiddos. I do too, Tammy. That's why I put him up. Holy fucking first period. He had a great first period. Tank 2 turnovers in a row. Happens. You know, one of them led to a goal. It happens. You know, I'm not. I said in the pregame that, you know, I thought they were going to play just enough to win, right? And that's kind of what it feels, right? It kind of feels like that they're playing just enough to win. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a joke are the Coyotes? I think Jose said that right. Mr.
I would
Lance
definitely agree with Jose. Well, hello, Lance. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
Doing good. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. And I've been thinking about you, Lance, and your personal stuff.
Well, thanks. It's good to have you back on. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's great to be back, guys, and thank you, guys, for the opportunity, and I appreciate it.
No problem, Chris. And there's no, it's nothing personal when we don't have you on. It's just like, you know, you can see a lot of times I got so much going on, I can't handle more than 1 or 2 people, you know. And
right.
then, you know, when I get beat up like I did in the pregame, it just makes it really hard. So it's nothing against you. We just we do the best we can, and we appreciate having you on. Interesting first period. I will say that. Very interesting first period.
And I could tell one thing right away about one of the guys that said something about Clayton Keller being out, because apparently I know that Clayton Keller is indeed a very valuable asset to Arizona. I could basically see with Keller being out that is definitely Arizona's kryptonite, and that's basically how he pretty much just like got open there and got those goals like we did in the first period.
Yeah, no, he is a very important part of this offense. We know that he has a broken leg. He's done for the season. I mean, they got him listed month to month, but he ain't coming back. And that is a big thing. I've got a lot of injuries. You know, that first goal, the goal Bennington gave up, not a big deal to me. I don't think you hold that. I think it was Panger said it was going like 1.5 feet wide, and it
went off a leg.
It
went off a leg. It went off the Coyotes guy's leg.
Yeah. So I'm okay with that.
And Michael Dante, I'm not really worried about tomorrow night's game per se, because if I'm not mistaken, the Ducks are playing the Kings tonight. So they're going to be having a back-to-back, and they don't really have to travel far. Just maybe, I think it's about 8-9 miles difference, 7 miles.
Yeah.
But I'm not super concerned. If they lose, they lose. If they win, great.
It's a little more. It's about 25 miles. You know, it's like traveling from downtown St. Louis to Maryland Heights. That's about the difference there.
That's not 25 miles.
I wouldn't be worried too much about the Anaheim Kings game because Anaheim's not even in the playoff picture.
Yeah, well, it's not that. It's an emotional game for them. Right now, that game is 0-0 with 12:47 to go in the first. It's Ryan Getzlaff's. It's Ryan Getzlaff's last game, so a lot of times that can come out and really push someone.
Yeah, I can see that.
Ian Owen says, like I said, should be a blowout. My 5-1 prediction is still possible. I don't, I still think that they're going to play just enough to win, but I really would like to say
how I basically went out about it as I went ahead and stated in the pregame. But if they can maybe continue to play the way that they are now, then I can maybe kind of a little bit boldly go with Ashley's prediction of 7-1, maybe. Because I can maybe see that plausible at this time too, maybe.
No, it is possible. It is possible, and I get that. All I'm saying is you look at the first, and other than the fourth line, nobody's really done anything, right? One of the things I put is, are we not special? And I put the little tags, when I do the show each time. Special teams up until that point, in fact, they scored right after I wrote that, hadn't looked very good at all, right? They really hadn't. Other than Faulk and that fourth line, everybody else is just playing nonchalantly, to be honest with you. Fourth line is the line that's making this game what it is, in my eyes. Am I wrong?
And plus, basically, I can also basically kind of see the remainder of our season games as basically, playing playing a little bit laid back, but not too much though, because of the little thing about who's going to get home ice in the first round between us and Minnesota, per se.
Again, I know that, and that's you're right. That's what it's all about right now. Who gets home ice? And I talked about this in the first. I know Lance says, Lance, you can say it right now. I'll let you say what you say about home ice.
Home ice doesn't really matter in the playoffs because you can throw records out. You can throw all kind of stuff out. And I know when I played, and like I said, I've never played in front of 20,000 people. I've only played in front of a couple thousand people. I tune people out. I just, as a goalie, you can't pay attention to fans, even if they're cheering, when they're booing, when they're calling you names. And if you go back and look, and I think, Guy, you looked it up, but when was the last time somebody won the cup when they had home ice advantage through the playoffs? It's been a while.
It was the 13 Blackhawks.
Yeah, and it's, I think if you look over the last 20 years, there's not been a lot of them. There just hasn't.
And that's right. And so what I want to get at, it's not what we think of home ice. It's really not. You can sit there and say, based on this, it doesn't matter, da-da-da-da. What it comes down to is how much it matters to the players on the ice.
It doesn't matter to them. If it does, they shouldn't be in the league. I mean,
well, but
the Blues are going to tell you, oh, we love the fans and we love how they come out and support us. They're going to tell you that because they do like support. But if I'll put it to you this way, Guy, I understand why you say it doesn't matter, and I respect that, and I'm not going to change your mind. If you're a player that worries about home ice advantage, you shouldn't be in the NHL. You really shouldn't.
I think you're missing what I'm trying to get at. Right? I really do. I think you're missing what I'm trying to get at. What matters right now? So your playoff position is locked, right? It's locked in your second or third. That matchup is locked. If home ice really means nothing to you, why just play? Just rest. Just do what you need to do. Don't exert yourself. Don't do too much. But that can also get you out of your rhythm. By
and I think that's what the Blues are kind of leaning towards too. Speaking which on that point there, Guy, I think you just made a good valid point right there too, because I think that's kind of like the direction that the Blues are heading towards, or because I can basically kind of see it over that home ice doesn't matter as much to them and all that's or whatever. But what, I can also kind of see your point as well too, Lance, on the home ice advantage or whatever, because either way, whoever gets it in the end, I still think that we can go ahead and beat Minnesota in the first round.
Jose makes a pretty good point here. He says one of the reasons I think the top three lines aren't doing as much because the fourth line getting a lot of good minutes. Walker, Brown, and Torpachenko each playing over 4 minutes in the first probably would have had more if special teams didn't take a few shifts. And that right there tells me that Berube is flipping the script. right? He's playing the third and fourth lines more than the first and second, giving them rest, right? You know, and okay, guys, I think everyone's misunderstanding what I'm saying about home ice. They really are, okay? Whether or not it matters to anything in the big scheme, that's not important. What's important is how much it matters to the players on the ice. And when I say that, it's what you have to play for. How many of you guys have played in a sport, you had nothing to play for, and you were like, why don't I even go? I've been in bowling league. I'll put this, I've been in bowling leagues where with the last 3 weeks to go, our position was set, right? At that point, I started bowling worse the last 2 weeks. So I knew in that final week, which was sweepstakes week, I would drop my average a little bit to give me a chance to do better later, right? I did. I started throwing the ball down the middle because I knew it wasn't going to affect anything other than my chance later in sweepstakes, right? That's what I'm getting at. I think a lot of people are misunderstanding what I'm talking about. So I'm getting, I'm a little feisty because Michael Edwards fired me up with this. We did win a game 7 away. Yeah, we also won one at home, right?
And
don't forget that.
And plus, also flashing back to 2019, we are definitely a better road team as well, too. And I can still see us living up to that reputation as we go into the playoffs.
Actually, this season, we're a better home team than we are a road team. Not by much, but we are.
That's a little bit of the flip of the script. I mean, that's good. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying.
Well, the Blues are going into this game 26-9-5 at home and 21-11-6 on the road. It's almost even, right? It's almost even. They have one more home game and then what? 1, 2, 3 more road games. So they can end up 24-11-6, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best they can end up, and they can end up 27-9-5, and that's still pretty close, right? So at that point, what I think matters is the momentum that you take into the first round. I think that matters more than anything else. And in 19, we took a lot of momentum, even though we lost the last game of the season, into those 19 playoffs. A lot of people had Winnipeg beating the Blues, but the Blues had a lot of momentum going into that playoffs, right? And that's what's important.
To help close out towards the season, or till we had that like 11 or 12 game win streak.
That was actually more mid-season. That was in February.
Oh,
right. That was late January, early February that happened. The first game of that was the game before the All-Star break, and then that ran into like the end of February.
Yeah, the difference between Winnipeg and the Blues that year, Winnipeg stumbled into the playoffs. They played well like in February, the beginning of March, but they weren't playing well in their last 10 games, and the Blues were really playing well in the last 10 games.
Blues and Winnipeg had the same points.
Yeah,
right?
But they had about
Winnipeg. Yeah, at one point Winnipeg was in first for a large part of that season, and then they fell off, and Nashville ended up winning their division, right? And then Dallas upsets Nashville, right? And then we upset Winnipeg, which to me really wasn't much of an upset.
Now here's another question for both of you. Right now, it's basically a virtual neck-and-neck race between the Panthers and the Avalanche for the President's Trophy. Who do you think will get it? I think Colorado can still get it.
I want him to get it. I absolutely want him to get it because if you believe in the curse.
The first thing. Already knew about that.
What about you there, Lance?
I don't have any skin in the game. I think right now with me watching both teams, it looks like to me that Colorado's letting off the gas a little bit more. Yeah. than the Panthers are. And I think the Panthers are going to end up with it personally. That's just my opinion.
Plus I can also tell that Colorado is indeed letting off the gas because they lost their last game.
Yeah, well, I mean, their last game was against a good team. It wasn't like it was against the Oilers, and the Oilers came out buzzing. The Oilers absolutely came out of that ready to go. Jeff Horseman says, any team that wins a championship in any sport The biggest thing is playing great heading into them. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Definitely agree with that too, over because you see, because the way I feel about that, about these teams, certain teams going into the playoffs and like resting their players and all that stuff. I mean, I can also understand it, but at the same time, I kind of don't like it over there because that could drastically or flip the script on the momentum a little bit. Going in towards the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, that one team that you're rooting so hard for can lose that steam, or whatever, and could maybe plausibly face a first round exit.
Yeah, I mean every team could face the first round exit, right? And I'm sorry, Dallas and the Preds are both good teams. Both of those teams have the ability to upset either Colorado or Calgary.
And Boston and the Caps, who are also in the East wildcard spots, are basically in the same equation.
Yeah, no, they are. The only one that I don't see, I think that I have a feeling that if Florida gets Boston, that Florida's going to just buzzsaw through Boston. I just have this feeling. I don't know why, but I do. But I don't think that's going to happen. And Predators banner raising. Yeah. So we're almost there. We're almost back. What's your what do you think is going to happen or what are your thoughts on the second period there, Lance?
I think the Blues just need to start playing a little bit better. I think this game could be 5-1 out of that first period. I didn't like the way they passed a lot in their power plays. I think they need to move the puck a little better. I like the way Faulk's playing. I think he's playing really, really well. He's one of the few guys I think that's really given a lot of effort.
I'm going to bank on Lance with this one, too. I can basically see that, too. Over either, maybe the Blues could play a little bit stronger, or maybe, kind of get caught napping a little bit in the second period, going a little bit lax.
Well, I don't think they will, because they start off 4-on-4, which kind of helps us. That kind of changes how you start a period, and then they have that truncated minute or so of a power play. That could help out a lot. I think that it's going to come down to this. Blues usually play really good in the second. If they have that want to get things, and the other thing is Tarasenko, Buchnevich, and Thomas all on them point streaks. If that's important to them, I can see that line firing on all cylinders during the power play and then during their line rushes to get that stuff. You are right about that
too, Guy, because I remember you even saying just like not too long ago, Blues are like close to a plus 50 in the second period. Close.
Yeah, they're really like plus 46 right now. So
46. There you go.
Yeah, it's something. Let me see if I can look at it real quick. What it is? It's changed a little bit, not much. At one time it was right at plus 49 or plus 50. So.
By the way, guys, here's the other couple little facts here too. Like the Arizona Coyotes games, they you guys always talk about basically like failure to attract fans or like a real small crowd. Well, apparently another situation has been happening like that at the Oakland A's games, in case you guys haven't heard about that.
Yeah, I have. That's a boycott.
A couple nights ago, they only drew like 3,748 fans.
Yeah.
But then I also found out a little insider story that's basically could be because of some form of a boycott.
That's kind of a boycott
that the owner's doing.
Okay, the Blues are plus 48. Second period's coming on. Panger's talking with JK. So at this point, we're going to say aloha, and we'll see you guys all at the second intermission. Lance, have I got you a second?
Should be able to.
Chris?
Sure. Yeah. If you want me to come on in a second, I'll go ahead and come on.
Have you. We can have you on the second. I don't have Ashley. I usually try and keep it to the three main ones and then a special guest. I consider you one of the three guys. So if I have a so that's what I kind of keep it at. Okay.
All right. No, I understand, Guy. And
okay, guys, enjoy the third. It's on now.